Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Tarun from KBS Certifications. Today we have a session of FSSC 22000 version 6 awareness. Basically, FSSC is a food safety standard which we are knowing as well. It consists, the guidelines of GFSI as well as the ISO standard, which is very famous. Okay, and some the legal requirement, whichever required in the market. First of all, I'll introduce about my company, KBS Certifications. We are in the auditing and verifications more than 20 years. We conduct audits for ISO standards, business continuities, and sustainability, climate change, environmental studies. Also, we are the CQI IRCA approved training company. We conduct lead auditor and internal auditor courses for the ISO standard, as well as we have FSSC 22000 lead auditor course also. That is 5 days session. This is our introduction about the same course so that you can get more about the courses. Okay. CQI is basically the conducting body, which is providing the authority to provide a certification in ISO as well as FSSC. So overview of FSSC, you can see here ISO 22000 when you have in your organization. Accordingly, when you add PRPs means prerequisite program, that is technical specification ISO 22002, and it will be mixed with ISO 22000 version 6 requirement. All together will be considered as FSSC certification. So you can consider three things will be in the place. First one will be ISO 22000 standard requirement. Second will be ISO 22002 PRP requirements, and then FSSC special requirement. Okay, we are saying specific requirement of FSSC. So ISO 22000 2018 is the ISO standard which is named as Food Safety Management System. It contains total 10 clauses. We will read all these three sections which we discuss what are the part of FSSC. So first one is ISO 22000 standard, that is start with the scope. Okay, these are the clauses. Basically, you can consider the sections of standard. This auditing standard, or you can say implementing standard as well. It contains 10 clauses totally. In 10 clauses, we have first is scope, normative references, terms, definitions, context of organization, leadership, planning, operations, performance evaluation, and improvement. Basically, these all 10 clauses are not auditable. We have 7 auditable clauses, which is starting from 4 to 10. So first, scope means you are defining about the company. When you are going to the company, when you are auditing or you are implementing, you will describe about your company. That considered as a scope. Normative references you can consider from where you are implementing or starting the FSSC in your organization. So normative reference will be always ISO 22000 and also PRPs which you are adding in your organization. And third will be the FSSC additional requirement. So normative reference is the same. It is just a reference what is helping you to develop your food safety management system. Terms and definition is related to the terms what you are going to use in your documentation as well as in your organization. Like a abbreviation, you can consider it's a definition type for what type of terminology or maybe the word what you are defining. Okay. For example, if you are going to define maybe FSTL, in ISO, you will see most of the places they are mentioning FSTL. FSTL means we know food safety team leader. So this type of things will be coming under terms and definition. It is only the definition explanation. The main implementation, or you can say the auditing part, comes in clause number 4. Okay, that clause number 4, I'll explain you. These are the ISO 22002, basically the PRPs. Whenever you have an organization, each organization or each type of business is having a separate type of PRP. You can see here, first of all, when you have a farming of animal and fish or meat, milk, honey, or egg product, that PRP code is 22002-3. 3 is for farming. 3 is a specific code. It's a ISO document available in ISO website itself. So 3 is the code for this type of work activity. If your company is handling any type of business which is related to this category, your technical specification will be 3. Then when you are going to farming or handling of plant, that means any vegetable farm, okay, or any type of farm where you are having any plant, okay, that must be relatable to food. It is not for the non-food categories. Okay, if you will say I have a farm which only provides like a forest or something, there is no food from that plant, then this category will not apply. Okay, this category is apply only when you have a farm which is providing you a edible thing. Okay, then in category ISO 22002-3 will be applicable. Okay. And when you have perishable plant and animal product, mixed product at ambient stable product, this means any product which you are manufacturing. Okay. For example, you can say like meat production. Okay. Or maybe chilled product production like poultry production. Okay. It is not a farm. It is something after the farm. You purchase from the farm. Now you are making the product. For example, you wanted to make a maybe a like product canned vegetable. Okay. Or you wanted to make some frozen vegetable. That category will come in this category. Okay. In this PRP. So this PRP is ISO 22002 2009 in code 1 2009. Okay, this is for the manufacturers, not for the farms. And then when you have pet food for animals, that category is 22006. 2016 is the version, basically. When is the latest version? When you have production of pet food for cat and dog. Okay, there is two type of category. One category is the the animal which not give you any kind of food. For example, if you have a cow farm, okay, then the category will be applicable. The first one which you have seen, this 22,006. Okay, because that is not a kind of animal which is only for the pet. They give you food as well. Okay, so that category is 22,006. And when you have only there is no food coming from that, like cat or dog, it is just for the pet purpose. In that category, manufacturing it will be applicable. It's just the food which you are providing to use and consume it. Okay. Then the category is catering. Catering is a business where you are just preparing the food and selling it. Okay. It is not a manufacturing. First of all, you are not applicable to make a packed food. If you are applicable and you are saying I'm making a packed food product, then it will be a category of manufacturing. So catering category is applicable for 22,000 to 2013. This is the code of PRP that should be memorized, okay, whichever you are going to implement. If you are implementing FSSC and technical specification required for retail or wholesale business, it is BSI standard, PAS, publicly available standard, and 22/1/2030. This is the standard. Okay. When you have a transportation and storage, means your product is not manufactured by you, you just purchase it and sell it. In that category, 22,000 to 5 is the category that is for transport and storage. When you have any auxiliary services, for example, pest control, cleaning, or any type of business where you are not having any food item, you are just providing services to the food companies. We know, especially, related to the service field, when you have any food business as a customer, they ask you either you are authorized to do work in food premises or not. In that category, you are not applicable for any technical specification. You can directly implement the FSMS ISO 22000 in your organization. So these type of services, especially it is mentioned pest control, they don't have any food products, so no prerequisite for them. Cleaning services and waste disposal, these are not the categories where any food safety requirement will apply. Only food safety certificate they can have because they are providing services to food premises. Okay. Technical specification is not applicable. Food safety standard can be applicable. When you have food packaging material, then the category is 22,000 to 4. When you have production of auxiliary equipments, that means any equipment which is after manufacturing will be used in a food factory or maybe any food production. Okay. In that category, it will be 22,000 to 1, same like manufacturing, and same for the biochemicals. This is something, suppose if you are making a flavor or maybe a artificial color, food colors, food flavors, okay, that type of category will be manufacturing 22,000 to 1. Okay. So first of all, when you have a FSSC, you need ISO 22,000. Okay. Secondly, you need technical specification according to your work. Then third will be the requirement of FSSC, that is additional requirement name, that also will be part of our training. Okay. So first of all, we will see about the ISO 22 standard. This is context of organization. Once you are implementing the ISO 22,000, the standard needs, you should identify the organization context. Context means what is your customer, who will be the consumers, you know, or what type of ingredients you will use, what will be your production process. These all are the prerequisite, means initially you should know about it. So first category, understanding the organization and its context, means you will identify what you need internally and externally. A list of requirement you will prepare. Either it is required, you need approval from government, you need premises or factory, everything you will note down. Secondly, you have understanding the needs and expectation of interested party. Whichever interested party, means concerned persons or bodies or businesses, organizations which are connected with you, you should understand what will be their need and expectation. Not only need, always expectation as well. For example, if you are saying you are manufacturing maybe a soft drink, okay, in that case your customer may not be coming to you and telling you this is my need, but you have an expectation that is your product going to be consumed, then it should be in a safe way so that they will not feel any health issues or something. So it's an expectation. Suppose if you are purchasing any food product, your expectation is at least it will not make you unhealthy. So this is an expectation. So in so many cases, if you have a food business, not all the customers will come and inform you the need. That is a requirement of ISO 22. You will understand either it is a need or expectation. And need will be in terms of legal. If you are saying you are having a food safety business, if you are working in India as a food manufacturer, you must register yourself in FSSAI. That is a need, not an expectation. It is a need. Without that, you cannot proceed further. If you are saying you are making a product which is in UAE or Dubai or any other country, according to their law, according to their rules regulation, you have to register for the same. Then determine the scope, means what will be your work, exact work. For example, if you are making or selling a product, Okay, either you are making it, then manufacturing, either you're selling it, then trading. So that differentiation should be there. That is what the determination of your scope. Then food safety system. How much is the food safety system applicable for you? In this category, you will prepare the processes, SOPs of your food safety system. Then the clause is leadership. This clause consider the leadership commitment. That means when you have a organization, there must be a top management commitment requirement. So how the top management put your, their commitment toward the organization as well as toward their product, market, even customers. This is what the clause asking. You should make a policy of quality. You should make a policy of food safety. You should make a policy, whichever type of commitment your management wanted to make. But when you are looking for FSSC, there must be a requirement that policy will contain a data that what about the product safety in terms of consumption, in terms of health of consumer. Okay. And then who will be the responsible persons or designations to make sure that product is being safe. This is what organization, role, responsibility, and authority. These requirement will come under clause number 5. After then, the next section is planning. Your management have given you commitment. That commitment, how you will fulfill. This is called the planning. You're planning to fulfill that commitment. You will plan either any risk in your product, either any risk in your business, either any risk in maybe, not related to your factory or something, maybe related to the culture of that organization, culture of that market, culture of that even country. Okay. So that type of risk you will analyze. This risk and opportunity is not a limited risk towards food safety only. That is required. You have to consider all the possible risk, even if any risk, whichever related to maybe illegal or anything. So that also you will describe in this section. And once you have the risk, you will highlight what are the major risk and that you will achieve as an objective. Objective means the target which you wanted to achieve. For example, if you are saying whichever type of product you are making in this product, the major risk is maybe the machines or equipments are not all the time properly working because of the process, because of the continuation of the machines. Maybe you have declared that my food safety objective will be I will make sure my equipment machines will be every 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours will be changed, clean, or whichever type of. Okay. So in this case, you will be having a target. It will be an objective. If in case you are saying everything is fine, but my objective is I will train all my employees in food safety. That can be your objective. The objective is something which you as an organization wanted to achieve, and that is critical to the food safety. It is not like whichever you wanted to achieve, you will add in this. It should be critical to food safety. If it is not critical to food safety, then you can make it, but it will not be considered as a food safety objective. Food safety objective means if it is critical to the food safety, then only. Then planning of changes. If you're finding anything, whichever you are processing in your organization, this needs some modification, changes, or maybe any new process you wanted to add that you need to define in this section. And this can be a procedure basically when you are implementing. Later on, it can be an implementation whenever you will implement. Then clause 7 is asking for the resources because you have planned the things to complete these plannings or to establish or achieve this planning, you need the resources. It can be anything. It can be people who will, help in the whole system or food safety management system, even infrastructure, facility, factory, utilities, okay, energy consumptions, any type of thing. And work environment. When you are saying work environment, it is not only about the temperature. It is also about where your factory is situated. Means your factory area is, good for the food manufacturing. If it is not, then you need to protect it so that your product will not get affected. Then externally develop element of food safety management system. Any externally developed element which can affect your organization, that type of resources you need to identify. This is the requirement when you have a resources. Competencies, this section will ask you identify what will be the competency need for your persons working in your organization. Not only for the food related persons, even any person, whoever is related to the food safety business. Okay. Maybe your sales team is not in the production part, but they must understand what is the requirement for this product, even in the market. Because if you manufacture any, for example, you manufacture a water bottle. Okay. In that water bottle, your sales team is going to sell. But if they will not inform to the person where they are selling, in my maybe a supermarket or any grocery shop, if that grocery shop or supermarket will not maintain any hygiene to that product, then who will take the complaint? The manufacturer, because customer is going from the manufacturer side, because he can sell any other product as well. So basically, each and every part of the organization required certain competency. It is not only for the food safety related persons. You should consider when you are in the organization and implementing food safety management system, provide certain trainings for each designation. This is a requirement, and it is a kind of requirement which we cannot, let go. Without implementing this requirement, we cannot move forward. So you must have FSMS or FSSC trainings in the organization when you are implementing this standard. Then the awareness. Awareness is something you must have provided the training about food safety and all, but how much about the, the knowledge of organization? Anyone, whoever working in your organization, they understand what is your company policy or not? They understand who is your customer or not? Not about the name of customer. They should understand the need of customer. Okay. Then only it will be considered that the organization is well aware about their business. So this organization awareness needs to be verified when we are conducting the audit. And when you are implementing in your organization, you should consider that awareness must be provided, not in terms of food safety trainings or any post-tech training or type of trainings. It required in terms of what is their organization standard, whichever they are producing, what is the SOP for manufacturing, what type of customers are coming to have their product. So that need is required. Generally in this section, objectives and policies people are displaying, but this is not limited to objective and policy. Awareness can be anything whichever required for that particular person. For example, if I am coming for audit, I am asking to your machine operator what is the SOP for machine operations, and the person is not knowing, he is not aware, right? Because he might be competent. You have given a training, you are showing me the training certificate or maybe explaining me the training procedure. Training is a second thing. When you gave them, it's okay, it's good. Right now, we are also making a training. We are providing a subject awareness for you. But how much is the awareness? Okay, that must be checked verbally after this, whichever training we are conducting. Okay, so awareness is a part of verification. It is not only a part of document that you will share or you will show. It must be verified once you are in the audit, once you are implementing. You need to ask the question and answers should come. If answers are there, it must be considered that the organization is aware. And if it is not, then awareness is in required to be improved. Then the communication, especially when you are saying in food related standard, when FSSC or food safety management system, Communication is a part how you will communicate with your external parties and internal parties. Means internal team, how you will communicate. For example, raw material transfers from the warehouse storage, any communication between you and your customer. So there is a requirement that each food product is marketed with a label. When you are labeling it, means you are communicating it. Okay. So this communication is not only the communication that we are making over a call or email. This communication is related to the information that you're going to share with the persons who are externally connected, even connected in internal. Okay. When you have a system in place, there is a requirement that all the requirement, whichever we are implementing or establishing in your organization, it must be documented. Okay. Otherwise, verbal communication cannot be considered as a management system. How you will make sure that this procedure is a system or not, until unless it is not documented. So documented information considers when you are communicating with any of the organization person or any of the designated person in your organization, you must have a document to communicate. Without any document, if I am communicating you, then it will not be a documented information or not will be a correct way in terms of management system. Because management system is asking a document to be maintained in a place. In operations planning, when you are having an operation, this is clause number 8 basically. So when you have operations process or operations planning, it is required you must consider the planning of operation, whichever you have prepared before, the same you need to implement in this place. So prerequisite program should be there. Traceability system is required. Okay. Emergency preparedness and response is required when in case of emergency, how your system is ready. Hazard control means any kind of hazard related to the food safety should be considered. Updating the information, specifying the PRPs, any hazard control plan that we are naming as HACCP plan also. Control of monitoring and measuring, how you will control the monitoring and measuring. Verification related to PRPs. You need to verify the PRPs. What are the PRPs? That also we'll discuss. Control of product and process non-conformity. Whichever process related non-conformity, it must be controlled. In hazard control, what you need to consider, you should consider the regulatory, statutory, and customer requirement. Okay, when you are implementing a hazard control plan. Organization's product related to your product, what are the requirement? What is requirement for the process and equipment that needs to be considered? Food safety hazard related to the FSMS needs to be discussed when you are designing your hazard control, when you wanted to implement. Then organization shall maintain information concerning all raw materials. That means when you are defining your product, it is not only requirement that what is your product. For example, when you are purchasing a packet of maybe any chocolate or any biscuit, you are seeing there is a requirement. This is not mentioned it's a biscuit. It is mentioned what is inside that product. Why it is mentioned? Because this is a requirement of food safety. If your company is saying that you are registered or you are having a certificate of ISO or food safety, FSSC, any kind of standard, in food safety, you must declare what are the raw materials in that. Okay. Because of confidentiality of your quality product, you can maybe, not display the quantity, but name is required. Then determination of critical limit and action criteria. This is basically the temperature control when you are saying, your product is related to the chilled item, then your product will be till 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. When you are having a chilled food product, means any food product which is stable or which is having a life only when you store it at 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. If you are saying your product is frozen product like ice creams or something, then you have to hold it at -18, or you can go -19, -20, whichever. but not at minus 15, 14 or something. Okay. You have to go minus 80 minimum. Okay. Otherwise, you will not find the same shelf life of the product. This is what the requirement. And if you are saying your product is related to the catering business, hotel industry, then it must be considered it is always hot. Hot means more than 60 degree. If your product is more than 60 degree, that's why you are using the Ben Mary system. Okay. You're using maybe the hotting pan or heating pan, whichever. Okay. So this is required. Why? Because you need to maintain that product above 60 degree. If it is not, then the bacteria will develop and definitely your product will not be safe. And when you are saying your product is cooked, it is required in terms of food safety. It must be heated at least 75 degrees Celsius minimum for a certain time so that the center, of that food product must reach 75 degrees Celsius. Okay. So this is the temperature control basically in food safety. And once you are checking the management system performance, there is a requirement that you need to monitor, measure, and analyze it. Whichever performance or work you are performing, it must be monitored, measured, and analyzed, like your CCP records or your PRP records, OPRP records, so that you can say after evaluation that all the time my CCPs are under control or not in under control, whichever result. Internal audit is a part when you are doing a check for your organization that is considered as an internal audit. It is a part of management system requirement. Management review is a point where you define about your result of food safety, how you are matching or maybe not. So that is called a meeting required with the management because this whole ISO or FSSC is started with management commitment. So management needs to know about what is the status of the commitment. Okay. So that's how the management review meeting is required. If in case after the review meeting or after the audit, you're finding any incident, any non-conformities, you should take a corrective action so that it will be improved. And that improvement is considered as continual improvement. That means you are improving something. Then update the food safety management system timely. It is a requirement of food safety management system. It requires updation time to time. So when you update the activity based on input from communication, like how you can update. Somebody will give you the input, maybe your organization persons, maybe any customer requirement, maybe any legal requirement change. Okay. So any kind of changes that needs to be updated will be considered in the improvement. And it is a mandatory requirement. You must improve something. And if you are implementing a food safety system, then ISO 22002 PRPs that we have seen, these are the same. Now, what is the meaning of this PRP? What is, like the PRP means? So first of all, you can consider here the PRP means is prerequisite program. That means when you are going to start the work or about to start the any food safety type of business, you must consider the construction and layout of building or associated utilities. If you have this, that means your PRP is in control. Layout of premises, workplace, employee facilities, supplies of air, water, energy, and any other utilities, supporting services like waste or sewage disposal, maybe pest control, or any type of services which is required. Then suitability of equipment, either your equipment is suitable or not. Then accessibility for cleaning when you are having a product or maybe the production process, either your equipments are, ease of cleaning, either you can easily clean it or not. Right. Then management of purchase material. This is considered as a supplier management. Measures for the prevention of cross-contamination. You should control the cross-contamination. Cleaning and sanitizing. When you are cleaning and sanitizing your organization related processes and all, that considered as a PRP. pest control, and hygiene. Person hygiene means the person who are working there, they must follow the hygienic practice. These are the common PRPs which are listed under these. Okay. So basically you need to consider these all are the PRPs, but some are applicable for specific cases, some are not applicable. Okay. For manufacturing, definitely these will be applicable. If you are saying it is a farm, so in the farm, maybe some of the things are not applicable. If you are saying it is slaughterhouse, in slaughterhouse, some different type of PRPs will be applicable. Okay. Or the title will be applicable, but how you will implement that will be a different thing. Okay. So this is how the PRPs are required. This is the additional requirement of FSSC 22000. When you are having a FSSC 22000 standard, it says first requirement is management of services and purchase material. It is applicable for all the categories. This consists basically you need to have a management of services. When you are saying you have a ISO system, it may be justified, it will be fulfilled when you will show them your supplier is ISO certified or your supplier is FSSC certified or your supplier is, HACCP certified. But in this standard, they are going more in detail. Okay, this supplier management is not just collecting their evidences and all. This is something you will go for a laboratory analysis, documented procedures you will identify. Okay, policies for procurement of animal, fish, seafood. Okay, so in this category you will be having a specific control for a specific supplier. There must not be the same type of controls for all the supplier. If you are saying your supplier is supplying you the meat product, then you will define as per FSSC what is the specific control. You need maybe the certificate of the analysis, whichever product they are providing you. Maybe you need the health certificate, fitness certificate, maybe any specific certificate. Okay. If you are saying you are purchasing a seafood, you might require a parasitic activity test or maybe a parasitic activity declaration. So each customer, each type of product, whichever you are purchasing, that supplier needs to provide you a specific control as per their product. This is the additional requirement because you already have supplier management, but this management is according to FSSC. Okay. The second is product labeling and printing material. Now you are already printing the label and everything. FSSC is asking you a specific requirement. A specific means the artwork, whichever you are having, that must be verified. Okay. How you can use the material, the font size and all, that must also be considered as per their guidelines. What, whichever is your product site, what type of content you will write, whichever product you are having, for each product or each type of packaging material or packaging size, they have defined the font size as well. Okay, in FSSC standard requirement. So that needs to be followed. This is why they have considered FSSC as an additional requirement. Label is there, but what about the size, content, whichever you are writing? For example, you are purchasing so many product when you are seeing, only in a bold letter, you will find the product name. For example, if you purchase maybe a chocolate, they are maybe writing a big brand name. But what about the content, ingredient? They write very small. But the thing is, FSSC is saying there is a control. If your product size is this much, then you have to write this much. You cannot write in a way that will, get neglected by the customer. That is why FSSC is more, strict guideline in terms of food safety. Then food defense. Food defense is basically you are knowing the food safety very, clearly. Food defense is mainly saying when you don't want to make your product, unhygienic or maybe unhealthy, but your competitor wanted to make your product in a bad reputation. So how you will protect your product? That is called defensing. Okay, you are defending your product in terms of any contamination, and that can be two type of, either a TASA, that is threat assessment, and then vulnerability assessment. Either the product whichever you are producing, somebody from your company itself wanted to contaminate it. Okay, not by the choice of the management, by the choice of the person. Okay. In that case, what is the requirement? That is a kind of vulnerability that you need to consider and you need to control. For example, if there is a juice manufacturing company, okay, or maybe a soft drink, bottling company, if they will not control their factory to access, okay, that is why you are seeing so many factories are not allowing any random person to go and come. They have all the areas CCTV monitored. They have all the places in control of safety, security, so many things because of vulnerability assessment. Because you are seeing also so many informations or news are coming related to any product adulteration and all. So this is a requirement that FSSC considered as a defense system. FSSC is saying organization must create a food defense system so that their product will not get any type of harm to the organization as well as to the consumer, because your organization will also get affected if any product get defect. Okay. Then food fraud mitigation, any kind of frauds, it is not related to the organization that you are making a fraud. It is something maybe your suppliers are trying to. Okay. For example, you wanted to purchase a meat product. How you will make sure the meat is from a animal which you are asking for? Okay. You might be asking a lamb meat and you are delivered to maybe a sheep. How you will make sure? So these type of things will be considered as a food fraud mitigation. In that case, you are asked to control a specific item, a specific product, that there will not be any kind of changes in the product, in the material, in the raw material or ingredient. Okay. So by substituting one product for another, this is a requirement, means you can consider they are making a substitute type of thing using unapproved enhancement or additives. These are the possibilities. Then misrepressing, maybe country of origin, they are writing maybe it is originated from maybe Canada or maybe from New Zealand or something, but it is not. Okay, so these type of things considered in FSSC, and they have said you must control if any fraud related things are there in the product level, in the product ingredient level. Okay, maybe it is mentioned artificial color, but it is artificial color from which type of you know content, or how they extract that color. If it is a flavor, they are saying it is natural fruit flavor, then how you extract it, how you will establish a kind of you can say a trust about your supplier. So FSSC is more about you have to visit your suppliers, and there must be a plan of visit. You must ask them for any random visits as well. Okay, so that is how the food fraud mitigation can be controlled if anyone is containing the certification of FSSC. Okay, then food risk type. There are certain type of risk that you can see in the circles. One, you can see the food safety, then food quality. Okay, food quality can be a thing where food is safe, you can consume it, but quality is not up to the requirement. Then food defense. Food defense is something which we have discussed. You have to defend your product so nobody can make a harm to your product. Okay. And food fraud. It is a economically driven. Okay. Means somebody wanted to make money and they wanted to fraud with you in terms of ingredient. They are saying it is a natural food color, maybe not. It is a natural flavor, it is not. Okay, so that you need to consider. And when you have an organization where FSSC is implemented, you can have a satisfaction and in your mind that it is not a kind of. That is why FSSC is more in market. Then the use of logo. If you are saying you wanted to make a product and you wanted to sell your product, can you use a FSSC logo in your product? Either you can use or not, or where you can use it. This type of control FSSC has made, because anybody can have a FSSC logo, but not on the product. Okay, they are saying you can use it in your website, you can market it that your company is FSSC certified, because FSSC is not certifying any product. So you cannot write in your product that my chocolate is FSSC certified. Your chocolate company may be FSSC certified, not the product. Okay. So this control is made by FSSC. This is we need to consider, and how you will use it, because FSSC is a strict standard. Everyone wanted to take it and wanted to marketize their, requirement and product. So basically the control is you should consider the logos cannot be used anywhere. You cannot write in your product as well. Okay. Then what type of logo you can use? A product, its labeling, packaging, or whichever type of logos you are using, means whichever places are required for the logo. Each place they have given a separate requirement. If you are writing in a product, there is a control. If you are writing in your label, there is a control. In packaging, a different control. So each area, a separate control is provided, and the logo is only provided when you are using in marketing purposes. Okay, you can marketize your organization is FSSC certified, products are. Then management of allergen. Allergen is a product requirement when you are saying, the product which contains maybe the egg, the milk, or any nuts, gluten, any soy or fish, seafood, this type of thing. These are not, easy digestive to every person, because some of the persons are having a requirement that they might not be able to digest these things because of the allergic. Okay. Somebody's health is not supporting to digest these things. So in this case, this is a requirement that FSSC is saying, if you are having this, you should manage the allergens. If you are managing this, you should consider what type of controls is required. For each type of control, each type of allergen, there are separate controls defined. Okay, not in terms of how you will store or something, but what type of maximum chances can be by the allergic contamination. So that they are mentioning, and they are also explaining you how you can control and verify that your allergen system is properly working, or in other standard you have this type of control but not in this much depth. Okay, so allergen management is one of the major requirement in FSSC. Then environmental monitoring. In any standard, like any means food safety standard, ISO 22000, we are not having this environmental monitoring. But when you are saying it is a requirement of ISO FSSC 22000, not only the ISO, then you must have a environmental monitoring. That means whichever place, whichever area you are manufacturing your product, whichever place you have the production area, whichever area you are, maybe selling your product or serving your product if it is a hotel or something. So what type of environmental controls you need, that is defined in this standard FSSC 22000. Food safety and quality culture. In terms of ISO standard, we are discussing about the food safety, but here they are saying what about the food safety culture? Culture means in the daily routine work, everybody should be communicated about the food safety. It is a elaborated version of awareness of clause 7.3 that is coming from ISO 22000. Okay, so when you are saying food safety and quality culture, it is more about the culture in organization. That means there must be some, photographs or maybe any posters, any videos or any sessions, regular meetings related to the food safety culture. Okay. then only you can consider. If you are saying yearly one time doing a training, it is not a food safety culture. It is food safety management. It's okay. But food safety culture is something when everywhere the culture is showing that is a food safety requirement. Okay. Then quality control, when you are having a control, that means there must be a quality control department. In terms of ISO standard, they are saying food safety team leader is required. But in FSSC, they are saying there must be a quality control department. Okay, which will control the overall quality, not only the product food safety point. Okay, all the terms should be considered. That is a standard requirement, quality control. Okay. Then transport, storage and warehousing. When you have any transportation, storage and warehousing, what will be the requirement during these stages as per ISO or FSSC 22000? In ISO, you have PRP system, that is 22002. Okay. But in FSSC additional requirement, they are putting some specific control. That is how the storage, warehousing they need to control. And what can be? They are saying minimize the potential contaminations during these stages, because other standard is only explaining you the requirement of SOP. This is adding the requirement of minimizing contamination. Okay. And if you are transporting through a tanker like a milk container or something, how many times you can, how you will clean it. Okay. So these type of transportation and warehousing controls are additionally added in this. Hazard control and measures to for the cross contamination, preventing the cross contamination. In this category, when you are saying you are having a metal detector, any X-ray machines, any sieve, any filter, that all is required in this category. Okay, hazard control and measures for the preventing cross contamination. Any item which is not a part of your product should be considered as a hazard to your food. Okay, in this case, you will be making a control over hazard. Okay, this is how control over the cross contamination. In this category, they have more focused about. For example, if you are producing a product like a chocolate product, okay, in that case you are saying I will make a sieving. But if you are going for FSSC, they will not satisfied with the sieve only. They have to, get a proper inspection. Okay, after packaging also. For example, ingredient you can see. What about after packaging? You need metal detector, X-ray machines. Okay, so that is how this is standard asking for maximum controls. Okay, PRP verification. PRP verification. Each PRP must be verified. Okay, it must be verified on site. This is a must requirement. For example, you are saying supplier approval is a requirement, but when you are going for FSSC, you must make sure that supplier verification also on site. You cannot say supplier verification, you have collected the document and evidence, it's done. All should be on site. The control is specific. That is why FSSC is more, advanced in food safety. Product design and development. When you are designing a product, when you are developing a product, what type of controls you need? Okay. How you will identify the shelf life, how you will design the frequency when you are going to check. Okay. How much is the temperature required? Because you developed a new product, so you cannot consider the same requirement which is being followed by the old times. If it is a new product means a certainly new product, not a type of product that you are producing first time. If it is new to the market, like you have made something which is not available in the market, for that product if you are controlling, then how you will control? That control should be defined, that control should be made. Okay. So general controls you cannot use. General control definitely will help you, but a specific control you need to define. That is the demand in new product development of FSSC. When you are having the FSSC, you should check the health status. Health status, definitely the product persons, the persons who are working there. Okay. The persons who are handling the product. Then equipment management. Equipment management means the equipment which is being used by your organization. It must be food grade equipment. Okay. Now food grade, how you will evaluate? There are certain laboratories. Those are giving you the result. If you are purchasing a plastic packaging, either this plastic is food grade or not. It will be giving you a report from the laboratory. You will get a report that this plastic will be a food grade plastic because it is not having any reaction with your food product. That's why you can use it. If it is a metal, then what type of metal? In steel also, you have four type of steel in food grade: 304, 306, okay, 314, 316. Okay, which one is more suitable to you? Which one is more, required for you? So when you are saying your product is something very critical, very acidic in nature, or you are saying you are going to heat up the equipment. So in that category, a different material is required, a metal. Okay. So that is how the consideration you should consider equipment management properly when you are having a FSSC. Then food loss and waste. You must consider what are the losses in your organization and what is the wastage. Now, this is not a type of thing that FSSC wanted to make a, a control toward the waste or control toward the losses. No, they just wanted to verify either if your company is producing every year 100 tons of product, what is the wastage in that? If you are saying my wastage is this much, suppose 20% you have declared your wastage, then wastage should be 20. If your wastage is 10, that means where is the 10 means, the wastage. You have produced it as a finished product or you have sale it somewhere or what you have done with that. So this is just for the balancing of your material. Okay, FSSC is saying you must declare, you must identify how much is the losses in your food, how much is the wastage in your food, how much is your final product. So they can get a satisfaction that, okay, if this much is the percentage waste in your processing or manufacturing, then this is matching, not in a minute way, but in an overall way. If you are saying your wastage is something else, and your production is something else, it must match with your process, with your declaration, which you have declared. Okay, because each manufacturing company needs to define what is their production output, what is their wastage. If that is not matching, means it is something wrong. Then communication requirement. When you are saying there is a FSSC, they are saying a specific communication. Okay. For example, few information you can consider here. If in case organization shall inform the certification body within 3 days of commencing of any situations. That means if your organization is FSSC certified, FSSC guideline is saying if you face any emergency situation or any food related issues, any product related issues, you must inform your FSSC certification company within 3 days so that they will get informed. This is how the communication. What will be the next? That is the second thing. Maybe they will come again to verify your process, what happened, why it is happened, and then they will give you either you can continue the FSSC or maybe we need to withdraw it. Okay. Then any public safety event, any public related issues happen to your product, any kind of legal issues happen to your company, maybe your product is safe, but any legal controls, maybe government has put it on your company. So in these type of situation, you must communicate with the FSSC organization. This is what the communication here. Okay, this communication is not only that how you are communicating with your customer and how you're communicating with your supplier and all. This is the communication between FSSC and the organization that is certified for FSSC. Okay. Then we have additional requirement 18, that is requirement for the organization with multi-site certification. That means if you are having a multiple site, okay, if you have an organization which is having multiple locations, in that case, what you need to do for implementing, you need to identify roles and responsibilities for each requirement and each person. Then internal audit procedures shall be established in each location. All sites shall be audited at least annually. Internal audits. Okay. Internal audit shall must the minimal requirement. That means each site must be the internal audited site. And now the second thing, who can do these things? Certification body and also your internal auditor. Okay. Your internal auditor who will be the person who is having a 2 years full-time experience in food industry, 1 year in organization, the same, that person can conduct. Then a person who has completed a higher education course or maybe in absence, if not, in terms of education, at least 5 years work experience in food production or any type of food businesses. Internal audit report. This is the control for FSSC. Internal audit report shall be subject to the technical review by a central function. That means if you have a organization which is having maybe 50 or 20 or 30 different locations, maybe just consider you are the part of maybe any maybe Pizza Hut or maybe any Domino's or something. So in that case, what you will do? You have maybe multiple locations. So in this case, you will audit, but there must be a secondary person who is authorized for food safety as per FSSC guideline. That will cross-verify your auditing. Okay. The internal audits and technical review shall be subject to annual performance. This will be checked annually. And trainings which is required for the persons who are conducting internal audit, it is FSSC 22,000 internal audit can be done by 22,000 lead auditor completed person. If you are not having that, then as a as a person, you are not eligible to conduct the internal audit as well. This is the guideline of FSSC. Okay, so this is how the awareness and course about the FSSC. If you have any question, you can chat in the chat room. I'll try to answer. And also related to our course, we are having actually the upcoming course as well. If you wanted to more about FSSC, you can join our FSSC lead auditor course, which is going to be held in this date. These are the details of our training team. You can contact to them. Okay, you can write an email to them. You can have a photo of this slide. It will help you later also. So you can coordinate with our training team. They will give you the schedules. Okay. For any questions, you can ask. Please use your chat box. Any questions related to FSSC 22,000, which we have discussed? You can write in the chat room because we are having multiple persons, so we are not able to communicate in verbal. You can write your question. Try to join the courses, that is lead auditor course. It will help you more in understanding of FSSC. FSSC actually a very new standard in market, and also it is very much famous because GFSI is the standard making authority. GFSI is Global Food Safety Initiative. They have prepared this and they are controlling it. And this organization is very much, good in terms of food safety. Any questions, please? Thank you for your time. You can take a note of this slide. You can take a photo as well, a screenshot to reach out our training company or our training, training person.